Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brenna Jean, a future doctor, and today we're going to talk about something that I'm pretty excited to talk about. We're going to talk about why you don't need independent research experience to get into medical school. And I know this can be a kind of tricky topic, so I'll do my best to explain my point of view. And just a disclaimer, this is my point of view, my perspective. I'm not an admissions advisor or a pre-med advisor. This is just based on my own experiences and understanding of what's important when it comes to getting into medical school. My opinion. So take that with a grain of salt. I hope you enjoy this video, and let's jump right into it. Okay, now before we do anything else, let's talk about a few instances where you might want to try and do research and where you might not necessarily need to do research. And then we'll go into some of the pros and cons. So where you might really want to do research is if you're looking into an MD, PhD program. Yeah, you probably want to do research because that's kind of the degree you're going to get. Same if you actually love doing research, then frickin' do research. I'm not telling you not to do research. Period. I'm just saying if it's not something that you're passionate about or you don't have time to do, then it's probably okay. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to instances where it might be okay not to do research, take one where, like mine, where you switched into this whole pre-med track a little bit later in your college career, and maybe you don't have time to do research because you're trying to catch up on classes. That's okay. Or maybe research just isn't your thing. Wasn't my thing. Maybe it's more important to you to volunteer or get clinical experience. That's okay. If you love to do both and you have time, that's okay too. But if research really isn't your cup of tea, so to speak, you really don't have to do it, especially if you're not going into a research-oriented program. There's a few things when it comes to research of skills that some people argue you might gain specifically from research. Let's talk about those and other areas where you might collect those sorts of skills. When it comes to the skills that you typically gain from doing research, one of the ones is just your basic understanding research design and methodology. Now, the thing is, if you're not super passionate about research or it's not really your forte, you truly do get the basic understanding of the scientific method and research processes and a few different techniques through your normal lab science courses or any science courses that require you to do a research project. So as far as the basic understanding of how to format a research paper and needing controls and different variables and sample sizes, you get all of those from your coursework, so you don't necessarily need an independent research experience in order to gain that specific information. There's also something to be said for an appreciation of ignorance and failure, and that really comes from just knowing that not everything is simple. Just because you change a gene here or change one variable here, it doesn't mean that your hypothesis is going to come true. And having an appreciation for the unpredictability of life and science is really important. However, I also think you get that from your science courses. If you're an engineer like me, you inevitably do design projects and you definitely fail there. And just through life, if you ever have a leadership role, you pretty quickly get an appreciation for failure, trying again, being really resilient when it comes to testing. And I don't think you necessarily need to get that skill from research alone. I think you can get that other places. And of course, there's a set of transferable skills that you talk about at lots of points, critical thinking, problem solving, being independent, collaboration, communication. And the great thing is that you can get those skills from a variety of sources. I mean, problem solving for me came from a lot of my engineering design project work. Communication comes from my different roles that I've had as a leader and communicating to my team. Same with collaboration. Independence, studying. I mean, come on, people. You need a certain level of independence to get work done and to study. And there's just a whole host of places where you can get those more transferable skills. That doesn't have to be from research. Now, this isn't to say that research isn't important. It really is important, and having an appreciation for it is important for you as a doctor.
How many times can I say important?
Seriously though, when it comes to being able to understand a research paper, the findings, what makes a specific set of research good. So does it have good controls, good variables, good sample sizes, a good understanding and discussion of the findings? Those are all really important things to be able to understand as a future physician. And a lot of that can come from just reading through research papers in your lab courses, like I said, if you've ever had to do a research project. And having an appreciation for how that works is important. In addition, having the ability to take what you read, then implementing that into your clinical practice is also incredibly important. Medicine and science in general is always changing, and being up to date and current on techniques and studies can really inform your practice, the way that you interact with your patients, and ultimately your patient's health. So, like I said, I feel like I can't say this enough. Research is incredibly important, and having an appreciation for that is essential as a physician. But you don't need independent research experience to get into medical school. Let's break this down by just talking about my own story. So for me, I didn't do any independent lab research work. I wasn't in the lab 3 to 4 hours a week with a professor working towards either their project or an independent project. I never did a summer research program or anything like that. In fact, the most researchy I got outside of my
Organic chemistry classes and my general chemistry classes and my physics classes and my engineering classes.
I took a lot of labs in college, okay? The only real independent research that I did while I was in school was through our Human Development and Family Studies department, and it was part of a pain study, and I wasn't even doing any of the gathering. I was listening to transcripts and decoding them. So to be entirely honest, I didn't even put that on my applications, and that's just because I didn't feel like I gained a lot of value from that experience, and I didn't want to try and trick admissions counselors by making them think I had this great research experience. This is my cat's tail, woot. By making them think I had this great research experience when it really wasn't that beneficial to me. So I ended up applying to medical school with no independent research experience on my application, and I got in. So it's all about the quality and having passion for what you do. And ow, what the freak, cat? Sorry. At the end of the day, it's all about having passion for what you do. So I focused on things that I was passionate about: volunteering, scribing, shadowing physicians. The clinical experience and the patient encounters were really what was most important to me when I was a pre-med student, because that's what dictated, is this something that I'm really, really passionate about and really, really excited about? Research for me just seemed like another class. It really did. And at the end of the day, I have no regrets about not doing any formal research, because I know that if I had done it and put it on my resume, it would have just been a box to check off, not something that I was really excited about. Who knows, that might change in the future. I might try and do something in medical school or get involved in clinical trial type work once I am a working physician. But for any of you out there who are not really super excited about the idea of doing research as a pre-med, just know it's okay to not do that as long as you're focusing and learning about healthcare in other ways. All right, so those are my thoughts on needing independent research as a pre-med undergraduate student. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because like I said, this is just my opinion from my perspective. I'd love to see what other people think about getting that outside research experience while preparing for medical school. So anyway, if you liked what you saw today, please like this video, and of course, subscribe to my channel to see more just like this. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram at BrennaJFutureDoc. I post a lot more frequently on there, and I love connecting with you guys. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.